Hello, everyone. Welcome back to SuppTalk Radio. We are going back old school talking supplements. So my guest company today, been following them for a little while now, been hearing some chatter, but then a good friend, David Fredrickson, has been talking a lot about them. And then one of our other friends, as I call the Beard of Knowledge, Matt Nickerson, put us in touch and said, Sean, you guys need to hook up. You guys will like each other. Great products, great brand. But enough of my talking here. Allow me to introduce Trung, Newen, and Stuart Baxter, also known as Bax, from We Go Home Supplements. Guys, welcome to the show.
Sir, thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
So no, I appreciate it. So Trung, first off, I understand, so you were in the military and then transitioned into SWAT. Is that what I understand?
Yes, sir. I served 4 years with the Ranger Regiment, 2nd Battalion, served during the peak of the war. Then I served a total of 14 years in law enforcement, spanning 3 departments, a suburban Illinois department, LAPD. Then I ended my career with Chicago PD on their SWAT team.
And you just retired. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Are you kind of chomping at the bit here? Are you able to kind of relax, or is it like, going stir crazy trying to keep yourself busy?
So for me, this retirement was an early retirement. I chose to pull the plug early because I saw the value and where we can take this company. And I'm the type of person that either I commit everything or I don't commit anything anymore. So I came to that crossroad in my life where I was like, hey, this is your choice. You can either continue this as your side gig and finish your SWAT career. 10 more years will make 20. Then, right into the sunset. But knowing myself, I didn't feel challenged anymore. So I decided this organization, this company that we have going on, we're touching so many lives, we're changing so many people's mindset that we will make a greater impact if I fully commit with this company. So I skipped the comfort zone from a 2-paycheck insurance, a promise of a pension, to dive balls deep, excuse my language.
It's an open platform here.
Dive balls deep into this organization. Give it everything I got because I don't want to die with regrets.
Got it. And Bax, I know we talked off air, and you're Border Patrol in Texas. I know I don't want to compromise you, but how long have you been doing that, if I may ask?
Almost 15 years now.
And were you in the military as well, or you just jump right into that coming college?
So prior to Border Patrol, I got into the Air National Guard right out of high school. So I was doing the weekend warrior gig there while I was going to college, and then about just as soon as I finished college, I was like, well, shit, now I need a job, and looking everywhere trying to find one. Border Patrol was doing a mass hiring at the time, so I was like, I'll give it a shot. I'll see where this takes me. And then, almost 15 years later, I feel like I made the right choice.
Did you guys both jump in thinking, oh, this will be a temporary gig? Or did you guys kind of realize from day one, maybe this is going to be a long haul for you both? To either one of you guys, if you want to answer.
Supplements always been a passion of mine. I wanted to start this brand beyond the supplement. It didn't really start off as a supplement company. It started off as an apparel brand because I wanted to push the message of We Go Home. And in the beginning, I thought it was like, it'll be cool to actually bring something that was a passion of mine into reality. I didn't think for it to be this big, but once I did, I was just like all in.
Is We Go Home stand for something? Am I missing something, or is it just something you came up with?
So We Go Home is something I created back when I served in the military, and it really, the message itself is really powerful. People think, oh, We Go Home is a selfish message, but it's not, because when I served in the military, Bax could tell you, I mean, serving in the same paramilitary, you serve with your brothers and sisters to your left and right. You eat together, you train together, you sweat together, you bleed together, you meet each other's families and girlfriends and kids and wives and husbands. So you build this bond beyond serving, right? That is literally your brother. And when you go to war, it's no longer about you.
Yes.
You want to train to a high standard in terms of mentally, in terms of physically, because it's about those to your left and right. I will risk my life to bring my brothers home. I would lay my life on the line to make sure that they get home. So that's where that message, we go home, came, and it evolved.
Got it.
When I got into the police field, when I worked with my beat partner all the time. We used to shoot the shit like coppers do inside the beat car, hang out. You get to know them. They're like your brothers, your sisters, right? And you meet their families, the same thing. We go to calls together. We go to hot calls together. And it's a message. It's a mindset that we're pushing out to the community. Like, hey, look, danger is there, right? It's not if it's going to happen, it's when. So we go home is pushing that mindset. Hey, prepare yourself physically, prepare yourself mentally, prepare yourself skill set wise, so you can bring each other home. So that's where the whole we go home company came from.
Love it. And Bax, how did you guys meet?
So one day when I was out there working the field, I was scrolling around through my Instagram feed, just looking for a supplement brand that was backed by, or either owned or operated by military law enforcement, because I really want to support that. And fitness is a huge part of my, not only life, but my job as well. And looking for a new pre-workout or just really a supplement line in general. And came across No Sacrifice, No Victory. And when I saw that, I started messaging who I didn't know at the time, but it was Trung, asking about it, and then just, I guess, showing a lot of interest in it, because the only thing I didn't like about the product itself at the time was that it had BCAAs in it. I'm just not a fan of BCAAs in the pre-workout. And so that's kind of what got the conversation started. And I guess Trung saw that I had a real interest in this field and I had something to contribute to it. And so from there, we just started talking back and forth, and then, cut to the chase, and here we are now.
So do you guys kind of talk outside of supplements, kind of horror stories or war stories behind the scenes with each other, like what you've daily stuff, or is that kind of left off the table?
We do to an extent, but at least from my personal perspective, I'm never going to ask someone like, hey, what sort of action did you see? Or, I'm not going to ask specific details, but when it comes to talking about like tactics, or, hey, do you think this is a sound idea tactically? Will this help save lives? Or is this something that we should get rid of mindset wise? We'll talk about things like that, but unless it comes organically in a conversation, we really don't dig into each other's past too much. But neither one of us are very, I guess, shy about who we are and where we come from. So I feel like we share things pretty freely.
Got it. Trung, go ahead. Sorry. No, please go ahead.
I'm sorry. So like off what Bax says, it's like, when you have two veterans that are in our career field, we know what we do. Like, I know what Bax does. He knows what I do. Like, we don't really sit there like, hey, look, I got this cool story to share. I mean, we know, we give each other a nod. We understand. Yep. We've been in the game for a long time. We're professionals, you know what I mean? We all understand that. And like Bax and I, we love supplements. So that's how it all started off. He DM'd me. He's like, hey man, I like your product, but I think you should change this. I'm like, yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. So 1.5 was going to do this. And we started talking back and forth. I'm like, oh, this is, start reading him back for like, man, I'm like, this guy is freaking awesome. He's a great guy. Got to meet him in person. And I was like, yeah, this is somebody I definitely want a part of this company. So here we are.
I don't know if you mentioned, so when did the company actually come into existence?
The company came back into existence on August 23rd, 2019. And it started as just a t-shirt company. Yep.
So when did you move into the supplements?
2020. I would say February 2020 was when I decided to make the move of diving into something I was really passionate about. And I was like, you know what? I see what's out there. I think I can do it better, or, at least compete with these guys. So I was like, I'm going to do it. If they can do it, I can do it. So I said, I'm going in.
So I'm going to take a shot in the dark. Was a pre-workout your first product?
Absolutely.
Seems like everybody's barrier to entry.
Yeah, I think that's like the one thing. I think the only person that did it different was Andy Frisella. He started with a protein. But besides him, I think a lot of people always like, Bear Performance Nutrition. He's another Army officer. He started with a pre-workout. I mean, I think that, like you said, it's like the entry level. Hey, here we are into the supplement game. here's a pre-workout.
So now, what is your background though? I mean, obviously you use supplements, but did you actually know like the scientific side of it, or were you just Google searching and just kind of learning on the fly?
So on that side of things, I do not have a degree on there. I did go to school to get my personal training certificate from NASM and MPTI. I was a personal trainer for over almost a year and a half.
Yep.
So I kind of like took the physical part, but like you said, nowadays, the wealth of knowledge is in front of our hands, right? It's on this little smartphone right here. And
Yep.
I just started just going ham, like everything I do, like I started catching interest and I started researching products and researching ingredients and researching back and forth and start learning about it and figuring out what made sense together. And after that, it was just a rabbit hole. And I every day I always research and try to find new products and what it does and if it's really backed by what they claim.
Now, Bax, do you help at all with formulation, or do you kind of soundboard back and forth, or what? Do you get yourself involved at all?
Yeah. Well, Trung takes lead on the formulation. Honestly, Trung has a unique approach, I think, to when it comes to putting a formula together, which is something I hadn't really seen before in the industry. So what usually happens is Trung will come up with a formula, and then he'll say, "Here's what I came up with. What do you think?" And then I'll go through there and I'll give my suggestions and. Based on what we're trying to achieve there, may add a little to this or take something out or whatever. But I'm more of the editor, if you will. So I'm the feedback that I give Trung my suggestions, and that's really my key role here. And how I got into all of this was pretty much self-taught. It's not enough for me to take something and just trust that it's going to work. I really want to know why it works. And so even prior to getting on with We Go Home, I'd look up something like, for example, citrulline. It's like, well, why do we see citrulline now and not arginine like we used to see in pre-workouts all the time? And, starting to learn, citrulline is a precursor to arginine anyway, and it creates more nitric oxide in the body. And just learning why things are in certain products as opposed to not, then that way I know what I'm putting into my body and what I can expect to get out of it. And so that's really my background in it. But yeah, when it comes to the formulations and all that, Trung really is taking lead on that, and I'm just giving my feedback based on my experiences and my knowledge of it.
Trung, so did you start the brand specifically gearing towards the military and the boys and girls in blue, or was that kind of part of the overall mission, or did that kind of come alongside? If I'm asking that correctly.
Yeah, so I started that mission to reach out to all first responders, military, fire, police, EMS, EMT, those who support it. So we felt like it's a really strong community, and I really wanted to change lives and make an impact. So that's what my main goal was right from the beginning, is to hit all of that at once.
Gotcha. So walk me through your method to your madness with dropping a product or putting out a product. Do you kind of look at what's popular, or do you say, look, you're going to come out with what you feel is right? Like, what's your thought process behind that? It's
a game of chess.
Yeah.
I always say chess, not checkers, right? I could sit here and say, I don't look at other people's stuff. Of course, everybody does. Everybody looks at each other's competition. I mean, stacked on IG, they always release what other people are doing. I see what is out there. What's the hotness? What's going on? What are people eyeing? But I don't just look at that because, saying let's just say, for example, Ghost's product. I don't just look at okay, so this is how to do it. I'm gonna copycat what they do. I want to see what works. Why does it work? Why do they formulate the way they form? Then I go to Apollo. I see how they do business. Apollo Nutrition is a really popular brand now. They do excellent work. What makes them so great? So I take from all these companies and what they're doing, and then I do my research and I ask my friends in the industry who formulate stuff hey, so from everything that I've seen so far, this is what I think makes sense. Do you agree with this dose? Do you agree with this ingredient? And if you don't agree with this ingredient I'm doing, what do you recommend that might be a better avenue to this? And if you do have that, Can you shoot me a link so I can do my research to make sure it's something that makes sense in what we're doing? So my main goal is we want to set our company, our supplement company, as a premium supplement company. So there's never going to be a budget pre-workout, a budget this. It's going to be a premium product all the way, because I feel like I always tell people, imagine your body as a Ferrari. When you pull up to the gas station, do you put 89 or you put 93? The real answer is you put 93 gas, because you want that fuel to fuel this body of yours. So I'm a tactical athlete. When I formulate my stuff, I formulate it where it makes sense for me to perform at my peak levels, because it's no longer, I'm not a bro gym guy. I don't just work out, you know what I mean? Lives are on the line. Decision making is on the line. People's lives, my brothers' lives are on the line. So they expect me to perform mentally, physically, and be honed. So I wanted to create, so I took all that and I adapted and created a product that makes sense, where a tactical athlete who takes care of him or herself, eats well, sleeps well, would need some kind of supplementation to be able to get them a little edge, a little bit more of an edge, so they can perform their job better. So that's where my method to my madness is that, hone it around those who are in that field.
Do you think it's hard sometimes, because I've looked at your website numerous times, great products, great ingredients. I'm going to say you're a premium company, because I don't like the word expensive, because expensive is not the right word. You're a premium company, but you think sometimes, because I'm good friends with the owner of Apollon, and and Apollon has, $70, $80 pre-workouts, and he tells me stories that, people are like, well, I can get Redcon, or I can get C4 for $29.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, go ahead and get that. But I know sometimes people want to see that cheapness, but don't understand the quality. You really are getting what you pay for. And I don't know if you guys have that obstacle, or, you know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean. And this is where we set the tone. Like you said, we are a premium supplement company. Can you go with cheaper shit? You can absolutely go with cheaper shit if that's what you want in your body. But if you're that person who is disciplined in all the regiment that I've named so far, then you're just going to want the best stuff. And that's the market that we're going after. We're going after those athletes, those tactical athletes, those people who want to perform at peak level. They've done their homework. They've done their work. Now they just want that little extra supplemental to get them even further. That's who we cater to. We don't cater to everybody. We can't cater to everybody.
Exactly.
It's truly impossible. So we're going to have to pick. Either we're going to make it really fucking awesome, or we're going to make it mediocre and make it average and be like everybody else. And we talk, and Baxter and I talks all the time. We refuse to be fucking average. We're here to set the standard. My whole career has been anything but average. So I'm going to fucking take that mindset of everything that I've accomplished in my life so far and apply it here into this company and push it to everybody else, to let everybody know that, hey, we're not here to fuck around. Our formulation is to the T, and what we're going to be delivering to you guys are going to get results for. Are you going to pay for it? Absolutely, you're going to pay for it, but you're going to reap the reward from what you pay for.
And I think that's a problem with a lot of companies nowadays, because the supplement industry, let's face it, it's very easy to come out with a supplement. Anybody for $3,000 can drop a SKU, build a website, but too many people try to just do a shotgun approach. I'm going to come out with anything for everybody. And that's where they fail, where I think when you have that focus, don't compete with Apollon, don't compete with this, compete with yourself, find your market. And it seems like you guys have successfully found your niche, your market.
Absolutely. Like I said, we're not here to white label anything. Like you said, anybody can go and white label products. We see it happen all the time. Hey, manufacturers already have products already created. All you have to do is just slap your label on it, right?
Rocktomic. I'm sorry.
Yeah. but I know Bax is on the same standard as I'm on. Is like we don't accept average. Like you said, I have the racehorse mentality. What's that mean? A racehorse has blinders for a fucking reason, right? They don't look to their left. They don't look to their right when they race. They look straight forward to the end of their goal. And Bax and I talk, we have goals that we set for this organization. We have goals that we're going to set to give back to the community. And we're going to see it fucking through. Like you said, I don't give a shit what this person's doing. I don't give a shit about what this other person is doing. I give a shit what we're doing. How are we delivering? How are we solving people's problems? How are we giving the community a trustworthy brand, a trustworthy company that can be like, anytime they pick up our products, they know, hey, we go home. I know 100% anything that they release, it's going to be fucking spot on. It's going to be transparent. It's going to be fully dosed, and they're going to deliver. So that's where we're at. That's our foundation.
How often?
Yeah, and
go ahead, Bax, please.
I'm sorry. If I could just add to that too.
Please.
It all comes back to we go home. What that means. At the end of the day, this body is what's going to bring you home. You know, you can have all the Gucci gear, top of the line, what have you. But at the end of the day, it comes down to your physicality, how well you prepared yourself ahead of time, what you did to nourish your body and train your body. And that's what's going to get you home at the end of the day. And me personally, I'm not going to trust that to some subpar brand or ingredients that I sacrifice quality for quantity. And I don't want to have that be what's weighing on my mind, whether or not I'm well prepared or not to come home at the end of the day, like what we preach to everyone. I want to be sure that what I'm putting into my body and how I'm training is going to get me to that goal.
That's it. And Trung, I'm sorry, did you say that you did the supplement brand opened in 2020?
Yes, sir.
So was that a tough year for you, like everybody else with the pandemic?
It definitely was. But I've been in the social media game for a long time, and I think what really helped us was that the people who followed me knew me as a person, knew who I was, and they trusted me. So when I launched my product, we sold. I think that first week I sold like close to half my units.
Wow.
Disappeared.
Okay.
Yeah, and that kind of like I was like, oh wow. I mean, I knew like I was releasing something good, but the people, their organic following, the people trust me, and I couldn't have done it without the community's backing. So.
I would think, though, too, now in hindsight, if a lot of your customers are, as you said, the military, the EMTs and whatnot, you still need to work out one way or another. Gyms might not be open, but I don't know if there's like gyms in the police stations and gyms in the firehouses and whatnot. So I would think regardless, they need supplements. Now in hindsight, where the average person like me, the gyms were closed, so my supplement use was not as high as it should be. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. You know, COVID has proven that first responders and whatnot, they had to work. Yes. I was still out there. And I'll tell you that in a sense, it was the best time because the highways were empty. Like getting to work took me like 10 minutes. I was like, I felt like this is like The Walking Dead. I would drive because we got take-home cars. I drove my take-home car on the highway, and there was literally no one out there. I was like, this is so weird. But you're absolutely right, sir. You know, the medical field, people who are in the first responder field, the military, they have to continue doing their jobs. And so as with a couple of other civilian sectors. But yes, the gyms were open, or if not, they had their own equipment in their garage, and they just continue to get after it.
So I'll test your knowledge here, Bax. So drop the pre-workout. What's the next product you come out with? We'll see if Bax knows.
What's the next product we are coming out with, or
no,
what?
When the company first branded, the pre-workout was first. What was the second product in the line? Okay, now if we're getting technical, it was 1.5. So, so it was a new version of the pre-workout. But then, you know, after that, we dropped Tropical Storm. So, which is our greens and red formula, but it's to call it just that is really a debauchery because it is so much more than that. To me, that is my favorite product that we offer because it fills so many gaps that we all have, whether you're law enforcement, military, or not. I mean, you heard the saying, eat the rainbow. Well, none of us do that because actually, let me see, I got because half the stuff that's in here, I've never seen at the grocery store. I don't know if you ever have, like
Let's see. Barley grass powder. I mean, I've never gone to the store and picked up a good bushel of barley grass, but I'm getting it in Tropical Storm.
You're not shopping at the right places. Come on, man.
Right. You know what? They don't have a Whole Foods where I'm at. That's another thing. So I live kind of down in the boondocks down here. But one day I'll get up to that Gucci status where I can shop at Whole Foods, but I'm not there yet. Or elderberries. You know, you never pick up a big bag of elderberries ever, but you take a scoop of Tropical Storm and you're getting all that in there. And I think that is really what where the value is in that product is it's eliminating a lot of that hassle that, especially if you're military and law enforcement, like you're working long ass days, you come home and your time is limited because you got to get everything ready for the next day. You don't have a whole hell of a lot of time to yourself. I mean, especially if you're working a 10, 12-hour day and you got a family at home and all that, you pretty much have to supplement in order to keep yourself nutritionally fortified.
And also with COVID, I think the greens category is a category that did a lot of elevation just from the immunity, the vitamins, the minerals as well. People trying to reinforce their immune system.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and then I see. Go ahead, Trung, please.
No, go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
And then I see a sleep formula that looks banger, just absolutely phenomenal. Is that new, or you guys launched that a while ago?
No, we literally just dropped that a couple of weeks ago. By the way, off this, Sean, we're gonna get in contact. I want to send you all our supplements. You got to try it out. It is absolutely phenomenal. But yeah, we just launched that a couple of weeks ago. It's Zero Dark 30, another baby of ours. I kept it under hush for a long time because, we're big into every single label has a story to tell, right? So we didn't want to go the fucking PC route like everybody does and do a typical label. We wanted to tell a story. So if you take a look at Zero Dark 30, it's actually the operators in the front are based on SEAL Team 6, which are which is the unit with Delta who went in and killed Osama bin Laden. So if you look at the label, the front operator has a red patch on there. That's Red Squadron. That is the squadron that actually went in and killed Osama bin Laden. And if you turn to the direction side, I actually put an eagle eye view of Osama bin Laden's compound on there. And underneath there it says Geronimo. So that's the word that the operators told their higher chain of command when they killed him. They went over the air, they said Geronimo, forgotten country. So we just did a little Easter egg, threw it in there, and we created our supplement sleep aid.
So how long did it take you to come out with that? Because I know sleep formulas are another one that are difficult because if you put something too much, you wake up either drunk, hungover, or if you don't dose it right, like I've had sleep aids where it sets my bladder off and I'm up like every 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah, it took a while. It literally took me, I would say, about approximately 3 months. And it's going back with Corbin and a couple of guys that I know. I'm like, hey, so I want to do a sleep aid. These are the ingredients I want to use, like Vita Cherry. A lot of people don't think about Vita Cherry, but Vita Cherry in itself is a natural melatonin producer. But Vita Cherry at the same time, that ingredient helps recover muscle. Recover the
anti-inflammatory. Anti-inflammatory, I think too.
Yep. So and I wanted to do KSM 66, but But the thing is, I found Shodan ashwagandha. Shodan made more sense for a sleep aid. So I started doing research on like all those, like for example, melatonin. People think more is better. No, less is more when it comes to melatonin. I've learned that the hard way, right? So I found at anywhere from 2.5 or below, you don't build that. It's not habit forming, and you don't wake up groggy. And that's one of those things where I was like, dude, all right, we got to do 2.5. Everything else was just trial tribulations, research. What is the correct efficacious doses? Take that, try to find another link. Hey, does this make sense? Look at other people's stuff. I mean, it was just a massive research. It was like homework. It was literally like every single product we release is like a homework, a project for me, like a science project. I had to sit there, dissect everything, make sure that it's efficacious. And I made sure, like you said, that it's just right. But by the way, 2.0, we are the formula for 2.0 for Zero Dark 30 is done. So we're gonna probably release that right after. I can't say, but 2.0 is done.
But didn't you say you just launched the original one and you're already 2.0ing
Yeah.
it?
Yep. Because
Okay.
that's the way we roll. That's the way we roll. Like if I see like if I can improve something, I'm going to improve. And I'm not saying slightly improve. If I can greatly improve something, but keep the same formula, the core of the formula like we have, and improve on it vastly, I'm going to do it. And we found out what it is, so we are going to do it.
So obviously, Canada, I haven't tried the products. So how important is taste to you with the product? So people are going to get fruit juice and whatnot in the pre-workout, or are they going to expect something off? Because I'm assuming that your clientele is probably older professional. You're probably not dealing with a lot of the 20-somethings, or maybe I'm wrong.
With the soy boys.
Okay, you can. I've never heard that one, but okay.
I'm just playing. I'm joking about that. So taste is everything. And
Isn't.
I told back, it is for me. For me, if it tastes like shit, I'll shotgun it.
Yes.
Right? Because I know the benefits behind a product. The benefits behind a product outweighs the taste.
Yes.
But I am far in between. The majority of the crowd is those that is, hey, if it tastes like shit, I'll support you once, and that's it. So we wanted to make sure that we deliver on both ends in terms of great products, great dose and everything, but it has to taste good, because then no one would buy our products. I've tried pre-workout with monk fruit and it tastes like absolute shit.
Yes.
I was like, dude, no one is going to buy my pre-workout with monk fruit. I literally tried. I was like, holy shit, this is ass. Like like a person like me who I can shotgun anything. Like I could probably do this twice. And I probably like throw the box away, like the bottle away. Like, okay, you know what? I love you guys as we go home, but I'm so sorry, man. Your shit tastes like shit. Yeah, it might work great. I might have the greatest pump in the world, but I can't fucking enjoy this. So
yeah.
Taste is definitely everything. Bax?
Oh yeah, no, and you brought up a good point about well, it was a comment that was made this week on the supplement page, the We Go Home Subs page. And someone was bitching about the fact that we use sucralose, and it's like, well, sucralose is safe. Like there's so many people out there who think, oh, it's an artificial sweetener, it's got to be bad for me, and it's like, no. If you don't realize how much sucralose you'd have to ingest in order for it to have all these negative effects, like you have to go out of your way. Like you have to be trying to ingest that much sucralose to have the leaky gut syndrome and everything else that goes along with it. I mean. And when it comes to taste, like Trung said, we've tried stevia, we've tried monk fruit. We definitely haven't tried just straight up sugar, because that negates what we're trying to achieve here. But sucralose is by far, and aspartame and all that in small doses, like what we use and what most other supplement brands use, it's totally safe. But it really does. It complements the flavor. It adds to it significantly, and that I just wanted to add that in there. That's why we use sucralose and aspartame and all of these other artificial sweeteners, because we're using it in such a low dose that it's not going to cause these negative effects that people typically associate with them.
I think people find more to bitch about nowadays than find the goodness in whatever it is, a person, whatever it is. They just want to be that negative Nelly. You know, because I just looked up the pre-workout for a minute. You've got that adaptogen blend. And you've got lion's mane in there, but looking at your dosage, it's well dosed, not high enough, where I think the taste is not that bad. Because lion's mane, if you ever tried just like straight lion's mane at like 750 and above, you might just have a scoop of dirt.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and as you said earlier, Trung, that for a pre-workout, if you're sipping it 15, 30 minutes, you've got an issue. It should be like 30 seconds and you're done.
Absolutely.
In my mind, BCAAs and protein are the only two things you should really worry about that should have a flavor to it. Even some people like sleep aids, but sleep aid is like a pre-workout to me. 30 seconds and I'm going to bed.
Yeah. I totally agree with you, sir. And, in 2.0, we are removing the whole adaptogen mushroom complex. And the reason why we're doing that is because we have it in Tropical Storm at Pico 2 at 2,000 milligrams, which is a very efficient doses. Yeah, in the Tropical Storm, it's Pico 2, 2,000 milligrams, KSM 66 at 300 milligrams. So we already have that in tropical storm. So what we're expecting is the end users to already be consuming the tropical storm, which everybody should, because it's an amazing product. It tastes good and it does good for your body. But then now it frees up that ass taste in the pre-workout, right? So imagine that I took that out. I took out a couple of other things and I dumped so many, we'll talk later. Like what I did to that thing. And I can tell you, when people see this supplement fact, people are just gonna be like, oh my God, okay, these guys are not fucking around, and we're not here to fuck around. We're here to be like, we're here, fuckers. Let's do it.
Bax, do you ever get any slack for having? I think your pre-workout has 300 milligrams in it. People are saying that that's too low nowadays. Or is your audience actually happy with that? Because obviously your audience is a specific audience that probably don't want to be cracked out.
Yeah, it depends. But for the most part, no, I don't get too many complaints about the caffeine and it being too high. That's what you're talking about, right? The caffeine?
Yes.
Yeah. So, no, I don't get too many complaints about that. Most people don't know really how much caffeine they really ingest in a day. So yeah, I can't say that I've heard any bitching about that. My personal belief, though, is 300 milligrams is right there in the sweet spot. I say you don't really want to go over too much. Like 400 milligrams is on the upper edge of my comfort zone. But anywhere between 200 and 400, you're in that gray area where you're pretty much, it doesn't make too much of a difference. I have seen the other pre-workouts out there that are like 500 milligrams. They just up the ante on the caffeine. And it's like, what the hell are you doing? I mean, I imagine the customer base is just shitting their brains out as soon as they take it. So,
You'd be surprised, though. We're such an over-caffeinated society.
Yes.
That it's like, 300 is like my sweet spot for me. 300 to 350 in a pre-workout. If I go over that, I'm a little either too tweaked or too much. But yeah, it's like years ago, 300 was high. And now people say 300 is low when it's like we just keep edging out where 600 and 700 is going to be normal.
Yeah, absolutely. We did it different with 2.0. We went with 3 different type of caffeine this time.
Oh, nice.
I brought down the anhydrous a bit. I brought in the citrate and I brought in the D-malate. So you're getting a very nice flow of energy. Like I've been testing it for the past week, and Bax, I'm sending yours out very shortly as we speak. It's a very nice. The citrate brings you up right away. I can't give the amount that I put in. But I can break down that the citrate gives you that instantaneous flow of energy. The anhydrous takes over when the citrate gets ready to drop. Then as the hydrate gets ready to drop, the decaffeine malate kicks in to bring you down towards the end. So the 2.0, we're doing 3 forms of caffeine in that motherfucker. And we also are releasing a stem-free. So 2 stems, tiger's blood, a spicy mango nata, and we're doing unicorn's blood for the stem-free version.
So Trung, you keep blue ball in the audience here. When are you going to drop this version 2? Or when do you hope to drop the version 2?
I'm a perfectionist.
Okay.
It's pretty much good to go. So I would say in probably like 2-3 months, it's going to happen. Okay. We're just trying to we're getting the labels solidified, get it done. We revamped the label, so I wanted to make sure everything, all the bells and whistles, the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted, everything is set before we launch this thing. Because the next product we're dropping is a protein. And the way we're doing our protein is completely different from everybody else, like we always do. And I didn't want to do the typical white label, other ingredient, Costco brand bullshit where it's like the first thing you see is whey concentrate and you pretty much know that's what's in the goddamn thing. I didn't want to do the typical pure iso whey, which, don't get me wrong, is amazing. But I talked to the team. They got what I did, and we'll talk again off camera. And you're gonna understand the method to my madness and why I formulated this baby the way it did. And it's gonna be. And I can tell you this, Sean. one of the flavors, and I bet my reputation on this. One of the flavors that we're dropping for the protein is going to be the first ever in the industry. And you know how big the goddamn industry is. And you know how many people drop proteins in many different flavors. But we will be the first company to drop this flavor. And there's a lineage, a history behind this flavor. So.
But isn't it gutsy though? Because again, I've been in this business so long ago. You come out with a great ingredient panel, a great product, but I would think sometimes a flavor is just as hard. Where do you play it safe and you go with the blue raspberries and maybe the fruit punches and stuff, or do you risk it and you do like you're saying the tiger's blood, a peach mango? You know, it's always like, where's the audience nowadays? It's tough.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, and you got to see what's hot now. You got to see what's everybody dropping, right? You got to like see the flavors that everybody's doing. You know, we can't be a ghost right now. We can't get these, kids, Oreo cookies, cherry, you know, all these warheads. Like we can't do that yet.
They're overrated. They're overrated, brother.
I get it. I get it. But unfortunately, there's a niche market out there, and they played the game right, and that's where they're at. But I can promise you this. The flavor that we do drop, people have taken it many times, and it's like we'll talk about it. It's amazing. I'm all about taking calculated risks, and this is one of these calculated risks that we're taking that is going to pay off in the long run. So I'm super excited to drop this shit. It's going to be damn amazing.
So somebody just commented sriracha, ketchup, or dill pickle.
You got to bring the sriracha. We got to bring the sriracha. So
put that shit on everything.
What are you guys drinking on? You guys drinking something nice there? Nice whiskey, or what are you guys drinking on?
Shoot, well, I'm dry now, but it was a bourbon. So a new bourbon. I went down to Total Wine and More and took a shot at one I'd never tried. I think it's called I forget the name of it. But no, I'm a big bourbon guy. So I only give myself the weekends to partake in it. Because Monday through Friday, I stay good. You know, I'm in bed at the right time and all of that. So I stay away from all my vices. But as soon as the weekend hits, I indulge a little bit. Not excessively, but yeah, when it comes time to that, bourbon and cigars. That's my go-to.
So, Bucks, you're in Texas. You're not from Texas, are you? You're not like a Dallas Cowboys fan or anything, are you?
No. I'm a transplant. So originally from Spokane, Washington. That's where I was born and raised. And then once I got into the Border Patrol, I pretty much lived all over Texas, and then did a few years up in Detroit. But I gotta say, I love Texas. Texas is where I'm going to end up when they put me in the ground. But I didn't think I'd like it at first, but it grew on me. I have found a lot of things here that I just love and I can't find anywhere else. And yeah, Texas is it for me now.
But it's a big culture shock I know you bounced around, but from Washington and maybe some of the other areas?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because with the Border Patrol especially, I mean, so I say Spokane, but I'm rounding up to the nearest big city. I'm from a much smaller town, about 50 miles north of there. So cultural diversity in my high school was a Hawaiian kid and a Mexican kid. That was it. Other than that, it was all white kids there. So, I mean, we're like right up there bordering North Idaho and all that. So when I got into the Border Patrol and moved down south to the border, I mean, I'm a novelty down south here. I mean, my first station was in Eagle Pass, Texas. And I mean, learning how to speak Spanish pretty quick down there just because you had to. Yeah. And it was a little bit of a culture shock. I won't lie, but it's nothing that you can't adapt to quick. As long as you got an open mind and you're able to adapt, then no issues. And what I see with some people is they get in or outside of their comfort zone rather, in an area like that, and all they can think of doing is just how am I going to get back home. Whereas I just embraced it, and it gave me a lot of good experiences, a lot to really help me grow, not only in my career but personally as well. So I wouldn't trade it for anything.
And did you mention how long you've been down there now?
Yeah, in Texas, I've been down here almost 15 years. I did go up to Detroit for 3 years, but that was only a 3-year stint that I did up there. The rest of the time, it's been down here in Texas.
It's a state I've never been to. I'm a big barbecue guy, and everyone says, I got to go to like Louisiana, and I also have to go to Texas to compare the barbecues and everything else.
Oh yeah, and it changes drastically depending on which part of Texas you're in, just because Texas is so damn big. I mean, your barbecue in El Paso is going to be significantly better than the barbecue you get down here near Harlingen or McAllen. But that's just because it spans such a wide range, and what they grow, what they can get locally there. It just changes so much, and cooking methods change. So really, you can have probably like 14 different variations of barbecue in Texas. So, but I will say I haven't had one that's bad.
Is it wet? Is it dry? Or is it both? Because I know each state, some of them do wet, some of them do dry. What is Texas known for? Dry?
No. I mean, you can get the leaner cuts. Like if you're talking brisket, yeah, you can get leaner cuts where it is a little drier. But I would say it's not as wet as like Tennessee barbecue. I'll say that. It's probably like a happy medium is what I would say. But because I mean, well, Trung was down here. He got to experience some cooking out that we did down here, and just straight up grill off the back of a truck. And made fajitas, made fucking the steak, I think it was. I mean, it was just, phenomenal what these guys down here can whip up.
I lived in Florida for a while, and sometimes the sketchiest establishments had the best food.
Oh, absolutely. If you don't see a few rats running out of your taco joint or barbecue place, like it's not going to be good. Just pass it up.
Yep.
Hole in the wall places are the best.
So, Trung, here we are 3 years later. Are you happy with the progression of the company? I mean, I don't know when you started, if you had a business plan and looking at it and saying you're happy where you are now or behind. I mean, where are you when the overall growth of things?
I'm never satisfied, sir. And that's the God honest truth. I mean, we have definitely grown leaps and bounds for sure for a company, but we have a long ways to go. And I'm not going to stop until we get where we are. So, am I satisfied? No, I'm not satisfied. I mean, do I have a great team behind me? I absolutely have a great team behind me, but I am definitely not satisfied where we're at, and we're going to continue to push and get to where we need to be. It's just one of those things. It's like I like being the underdog. I like being somebody that no one knows yet or is still growing, because hey, that's the same thing that I've always been doing in all my life, is fight for what I get, fight for what I earn. And I would have it in no other way, no investors, no advertisement, no nothing like that. We are, head down, eyes forward, 1 foot after the other, and just continually getting after it. So am I satisfied? I absolutely am not satisfied, but that's just the person I am. I'm not saying deep down we're not doing a great job. I mean, we get so many great DMs from the community saying how much they appreciate what we do and what we're delivering. Absolutely. And I definitely appreciate that. But in an aspect of a business, in an aspect of running a supplement company, I am definitely not satisfied.
Well, like you said, though, that the minute you take your foot off the gas is where your competitor or somebody else takes you over, and that's the last thing you want to do.
Yeah. I'm like I said, 110% dude. And then and that's the way I'm going to operate this company, and that's the way we roll.
Are you the type of guy that sleeps with a notepad next to the bed? You wake up in the middle of the night and say, "Oh, let me write that down and go back to bed," or?
Oh man, so here besides the notepad, I don't, but I have my smartphone. But obviously, I turn it upside down. If I do have a thought, I do jot it down immediately. And yeah, I'm always doing something. I'm always thinking, and sometimes I think it's a detriment to like my personal life, but I'm on a mission.
Yeah.
I really am. So I can't stop until I complete it. And even then, I don't think I'm going to be able to stop. You know, I mean, there's so much I want to do. It's beyond supplements. It really is, because we're getting ready to start a foundation. We are halfway through. It's the We Go Home Foundation, and we are getting all the legal documents and everything worked up, because, you know, we're not all talk here. We don't want to be a company where we're like, hey guys, we have your back. Yeah, buy our supplements though. You know, we back you. We back our talk with action. So we wanted to start a foundation to give back to the community. So that's what we're gonna do.
So moving forward, you've got protein, V2 or V1.5 of your pre-workout. What else are you thinking about? Anything else you want to kind of throw out to the listeners, that something to look forward to?
Yeah, so we got
stim-free pre-workout.
We got stim-free pre-workout. We got No Sacrifice, No Victory 2.0 getting ready to be released.
Okay.
2 stims, 1 non-stim. We got the protein on the lineup. We have a new flavor for Endure, which is our BCAAs, EAA, hydration, electrolytes all in one, but we're renaming it to Hydrate in Blue Raz. Okay. 2.0 has already been done, so that's going to be worked on right as soon as Bluegrass gets released. We have a badass test booster that's pretty much done too, and Bax can tell you, it's like what I showed them. It's like it's actually pretty damn dope. We have fish oil. We have a multivitamin that's not just your regular multivitamin, but an all-encompass with CoQ10, everything. It's like a packet of multivitamins that we're working on. We're doing a bunch of other stuff. We're doing a fat burner. We're doing a joint pill. We're doing a fish oil. We're doing krill oil. We're going to be releasing a full organ pill-based, animal-based pill that it's going to have colostrum. It's going to have the spleen, heart, everything. So we're doing a lot. So there's a lot in the pipeline that I am just driving for. It's just like, I don't know. This is one of I'm excited, because I always tell, hey guys, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? This is what we're doing. So.
But now, being a smaller company, are your lead times like 6 months, or what is your manufacturing times nowadays?
We're lucky to have a really legit manufacturer that manufactures for big name companies. So the longest lead time we have is 12 weeks.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, but
awesome.
The more we work with them, I think they understand that now they know that we're pretty legitimate. So I have a buddy in there, and he's a great guy. Corbin, shout out to you. I fucking love you. He helps push my stuff out there quicker, you know, and the funny thing is, he is like a pretty high level guy on there. He followed me. He followed me way before I started my supplement brand. He's like, bro, did you know I followed you way before because he's big into shooting. He's big into the tactical realm. It's like, I followed you when you were like, for the tactical thing. Then when you decided to branch and do what you did, it was just full circle. And now we're working together. So it's pretty cool.
That's awesome. What else? We've gone all the way around full circle, guys. What else maybe have we missed that you want to tell the listeners as we wind down here?
Max, you want to start off and I'll close it off?
Yeah, I just got to say, there's a lot of supplement brands out there, and, we're no stranger to that. But what I feel where We Go Home serves its purpose and really has value is we all come from that community. We all fully understand what it is that men and women who are in military, law enforcement, EMS, firefighters, all that. We know the stresses that they're under on a day-to-day basis and their thought process. And that is really who we're catering to. Now, of course, anyone can take our supplements and get the benefits from it. But what we owe to the community is to provide quality supplements that they know they can just go to. And even if they're not like us, where they research what each individual ingredient does or how it works in the body, they know that the thought process has gone into it, the care and the love. and the quality is in that product. So when they're taking that, they know that they're going to get that desired result because of it. Because like I said before, time's limited. As soon as you get home from your shift, you don't have much time other than just to get ready for the next day. So I don't have time to bullshit. If I am taking a supplement, I need to make sure that it's effective and not be experimenting with all these different brands, being like, oh, well, maybe this will work better than this one, or this has, some of the ingredients or things that I want in it, but now I got to combine these two in order to make it work together. It's like, no, I mean, our time is valuable, and we know everyone else's time is valuable as well in, like I said, law enforcement and military and fire. So we want to provide them something that they can just have as a go-to and trust that the quality is there, the time and the love has gone into manufacturing it and producing it, and it's something that they don't have to second guess. So like I said, of course, anyone can take our products and get the desired results from it, but that's really where our desire to give this back, these products comes from. It's because we know people don't have time to fuck around in our community. So we would just want to deliver that to them in the most efficient and effective way possible.
Well said.
Absolutely. And Bax hit everything on the head. We're not a civilian-owned company that makes products and slogans and names off the community and pretend that they know what's going on. I want those who pick up our products to know that it's a veteran-owned, law enforcement-owned company that has the community's mindset, the community's basically how I can work this is what we're doing is basically showing people that, hey, we care about you guys. What we're delivering is for you, and it's backed by those who serve and no one else. And we're going to continue to give back from what we continue to receive. So it's not just all receive on our end, but at the same time, be able to host events, be able to, take care of the community too, and show them that, hey, we do have your backs. We understand what you're going through because we went through it ourselves, or we're still going through it with the staff we have like Bax. So.
Yep. And it's important too, because you're very well out there as the face of the brand, Trung. You're not a hidden owner like a lot of companies nowadays. And obviously I assume you're behind, or maybe you and somebody else are behind your Instagram account. That's a peeve of mine. A lot of times nowadays people are doing all these bots where it's like, what do you want to know? And then they get back to days later, so that's the one thing I respect too, is obviously you're the face of the brand. You're there. And obviously Bax, you're very, the minute you and I started talking, you were very open, very honest. You guys are accessible. Maybe it's the right word for me to say it. You're not hiding behind bots. You're not, getting back to people days later. And I think that's where some people miss it is, yes, you want the products, but you also want to meet the people. You want to be part of the brand.
Yeah, we're a community.
Right, absolutely. Sorry, Trung, go for it.
No, we're a community. We're not a brand. We're a community, right? Like you said, I want people to know who we are. That when they reach out to us, they can talk to us. I'm not on a pedestal. I'm like the rest of you guys. Like, I'm no different, and I want people to realize that. Like, hey, what we're doing, what we're trying to accomplish, what our vision is and what we're trying to do is definitely important, right? It's service, it's serving a purpose. But we want the community and the people who take our stuff to know that, hey, it's created by human beings. Anybody can DM me and reach out to me, and I will gladly talk to them and get back to them. That communication needs to be there, and we will continue to have that. So.
Perfect. Well, guys, it's really been a pleasure. I know it's Sunday night here, but I really do appreciate both your time. What's the best way for people to either get in touch with you, learn more about you on social media? Please, Bax, if you want to lay down your social media avenues.
Yeah, so my primary is Instagram. That's what I'm most prevalent on, and it's the Bax all together with 2 underscores at the end. And that's my personal page. I mean, I put out my own content on there. I mean, I don't have a huge following by any means. I mean, compared to Trung, I mean, it's minuscule. But it's either there or on the We Go Home subs page. That's what I primarily run. That's where all my social media time is really dedicated to. And that's probably by far the easiest way to get a hold of me on there.
Don't discount yourself, though. You might not have a ton of followers, but you got some badass content on there.
Oh, yeah, it's getting there. I mean, I won't lie, but my real love and dedication is in the subs page there. And since I started taking that over, I mean, I take a lot of pride in seeing how much that has actually grown. Because I think when I took it over, we were sitting around like 3,000 followers or something like that. But now it's sitting, it's closing in on 9,000. So, in about a year's time or so, or maybe even less than that, we made substantial progress there. So, but I'm on that all the time, trying to figure out, ways to increase our audience, and not just from a business standpoint, but like what we've been saying is just to reach out to the community more and bring more people into the fold and give them avenues to communicate with each other, and that's really what it's about.
Perfect. And what about you, Trung? I know you have a couple of different avenues yourself.
Yeah, first off, actually, you do a phenomenal job with the subs page, bro. For sure. 100%.
Appreciate it, brother.
So we our main page is We Go Home. Look, I was so shocked when I first researched that page, it wasn't taken. I was like, holy shit. So we got that. So We Go Home, and my personal page is Trung B Win at Instagram. So that's where you'll find us.
And it's wegohomesups.com, correct, is the website?
Yes, sir.
Well, gents, again, thank you so much. And to all my listeners and followers, anywhere you're listening to this, please give a like, a follow. If you can leave a comment, that would be great. And as always, make sure you tune in for this Wednesday for the Masters Muscle Podcast. Thank you so much. Have a great day.